What's going on, guys? Chuck here with another awesome Blu-ray purchase. What I got is a new release from Arrow, and it's kind of a re-release of a previous release of theirs. This time it's a 4K edition, and we're talking from 1987, Creepshow 2. Now, like I said, Arrow had released this as a Blu-ray limited edition so many years back, actually before I really started getting it from Arrow. I picked my copy up on eBay after it was all got done. Apparently, there were two different versions of it. There was the red cover, and actually here's that Blu-ray right here. This version, and then there was like a bluish purple version. I'm not sure if that was like a store exclusive or if that was like a reprint. I don't know the story behind it, but I remember that one might be more rare, from what I understand. But yeah, this came out. This is a really great edition, and I know a lot of people were, when this was announced, were excited but hesitant or disappointed at the same time, if you will, specifically because it appeared they were getting the exact same thing as the original Blu-ray release, instead of something different, which kind of surprised me because I honestly, when I heard this announcement, in the back of my mind, I thought, well, it's going to be the same edition, just 4K, and because that's pretty much what Arrow always does. If they have a title, they re-release it in the 4K, and it's pretty much the exact same set. Maybe they may have one or two extra new features, possibly, but usually it's the exact same thing. Look at I think The Hills Have Eyes, for one. I think American Werewolf in London, RoboCop, a couple other ones that were released that I know I had bought the Blu-ray versions of those. Flash Gordon, and then they released the 4K, and they're the exact same thing with the just up to 4K. So I was not at all surprised that this was going to be the same release as this, more or less. But everyone else was. I mean, that's okay. So there comes that question: do you bother picking this up if you've got this Blu-ray? And I'm going to tell you, that's a matter of your preference. But I will say, this 4K looks amazing compared to Blu-ray. And honestly, the Blu-ray itself, you've got a Blu-ray, it's a good-looking copy. I mean, apparently there was an issue with what was it? Like a framing issue with the Blu-ray originally. I was not aware of that. I can't see that, so I can't speak to that. When I looked at it, it looked fine to me. And then we're talking the original Blu-ray, mind you. And apparently that was corrected for this. Again, I see nothing. To me, it looked anything as a problem as far as framing goes. So all good. And like I said, this presentation looks really, really good. It's the best I've ever seen Creepshow 2 look, and I've been watching this movie for years. Of course, I'm a huge fan of the original Creepshow. The original Creepshow I discovered, some friends of mine, or neighbors actually, my friend, her parents, had it or showed it to us like on HBO when it came out, and I was stoked that it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And I remember when Creepshow 2 came out, or the trailers for the film, I was really excited because this was 1987. So that puts me at 12 years old when it came out. I didn't see it until it reached cable also. But around that time, I remember all my friends saw it. We talked about it all the time. Creepshow 2. It was like the one you saw the most for some reason. It was the most recent one, so it played on cable constantly. And I remember liking it, but also realizing it felt different from the original Creepshow in a lot of ways. And obviously, just with the eye test, you can see it's different from the original Creepshow. Just from the get-go, your original Creepshow's got 5 stories, and this one's only got 3, which seemed kind of strange to me. Typically anthologies are going to have 4 or 5 stories. So it's weird they only have a minor 3. There was that. It's missing some of the comic book feel that the original Creepshow had. The comic panels, the over exaggerated colors and all this different thing, something that really made Creepshow stand out. Creepshow 2 is missing that. It almost seems like a standard anthology film. Does which was one thing that makes Creepshow stand out above all the other anthology films, of which there are so many, and there are many good ones. But Creepshow to me has always been heads and tails above the rest. And because of that, presentation how it stands out, it really resembles a brought to life version of the EC comics it was inspired by, which is why the Creepshow TV series was so good, because it really brought back that aesthetic from the original Creepshow film. But also, again, Creepshow 2 just felt a little off. And I guess you could also point that, Creepshow 1 is a Warner Brothers film. Creepshow 2 is a New World Picture film. That's really all you got to say there. And I think it shows. And that's not to say Creepshow 2 is a bad film. It's not. It's got its moments and its merits. It's fun. It's a fun film. But again, it is a slight step down from the original Creepshow. Because of the only living the three stories, I feel this movie is really almost too short. I don't know. It's over. It's over before it begins, really. And another issue that hurts it is the animated wraparound. It's not very good. The animation is not very good, for one, and then the whole story is, I don't know, trite. It's not really great. And also, I like that they had the creep narrating, where you're not trying to read, because that's one thing I did. It was hard for me on the original Creepshow, because when they would introduce each story, they go to the comic page and they're reading. I always wanted to read that intro, just because that's kind of fun, which is cool if you have the comic adaptation, or trade paper, whatever it was, of Creepshow, you get to read those, and that's kind of cool. But it was always hard because they were so quick, and it moved by as the camera panned away to the first scene. So with Creepshow 2, you actually have the creep narrating and introducing each episode, which is cool. I do like that. However, I don't like the animated creep. It's again, the animation is not good. I almost wish they would have just kept Tom Savini in the makeup and to do the scenes. Of course, I know he did not like being in the makeup. If you watch behind the scenes, talking about, he was, ironically, he's a great makeup effects artist, but he hated having makeup put on himself. He just really did not like it. He didn't like doing that small bit, as the creep in the beginning and the end. But it'd be nice if we could have got him, for that one day, and have him maybe, film these scenes. It would, I think, give it a little more punch. Or maybe even having like just animatronic Raoul, like the Creepshow series does, which is kind of cool. But again, New World, money, I'm sure that's not going to happen. But yeah, so that's a plus and a minus. As far as the stories go, they're a mixed bag, some would say. I'm going to say it. I enjoy Chief Woodenhead. I know it's a lot of people consider it one of the weakest, possibly, of the film, and it's got its problems, obviously. Especially looking at it in 2025 eyes. But I enjoy it. One of the things that I like the setting, and I like so George Kennedy and Dorothy Lamour, I think it is, as the old couple. They're sweet. It's genuine. I really like that. I like the idea of the cliche cigar store Indian coming to life for revenge. Now, it's funny watching this, just rewatching it, and I've seen it many times on VHS, or actually recorded VHS and off of TV, and then the actual like a really cheap VHS. I think it was like Good Times or something like that. To having the DiviMax DVD do the Blu-ray from Arrow. So I've seen it a million times, but it's like watching it now. I never really noticed how much Chief Woodenhead moves the first part of the of the of the story. I mean, and not these subtle stuff like the subtle nod to the Indian. I can't remember. Was it White Moon? I think it was the I don't know what the representative of the the Native Americans. I can't think it was Henry White Moon, I believe it was. But when he acknowledges Chief Woodenhead, he actually gives that little nod. It's very subtle. I don't mean stuff like that, but watching him just wobble, and when he's supposed to be still. Now, I believe that was a person in a suit, and I remember the special effect or the behind the scenes. But it's like scenes standing, I figured they have a real prop, but no, he was just wobbling around clearly. So that kind of just it was really really obvious. But that being said, with the 4K, I love the detail you really see in that. I mean, oh God, I mean 4K. I'm kind of bouncing out. I do apologize, but the landscape, the desert really comes alive. The dust, the color. I mean, it just looks really good. This is a really good presentation, like I said. But again, I enjoy this story. I mean, I know a lot of people don't, but I do. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to defend it. It is what it is. As far as what many consider going from what many consider the worst to possibly the best, The Raft. Excuse me. Again, back to the 4K. This looks phenomenal with the 4K, especially in the outside setting and the trees and the lake and all that. It looks really good. And this is, again, a really good, fun story, creepy story. You can't get around that the whatever is the slick has never looked good. I always had a hard time trying to figure out what exactly it was, which I guess is kind of the point. But yeah, looking at it now, this looks like a giant floating trash bag. But it's an effective trash bag, if that is the case. So that's a really fun one, especially for its great ironic ending. And then you go to what I think is probably even though it's probably the best, but I think it's one of the most popular, and that's The Hitchhiker with Lois Child. So I believe it came out of semi-retirement to do this for whatever reason. And I really like Lois Child in this. I mean, she's playing, an adulteress, wife of a lawyer, and she's in her own head and has an accident, it runs a guy down and just runs off before, taking any responsibility for it. And he comes back to haunt her with the famous "Thanks for the ride, lady," which he torments her all through. And I love Lois Childs, her talking through to herself, trying to rationalize everything, and who that's going to cost you. This is, can you live with this? That kind of thing. And one of my favorite line deliveries. I don't know why this is, but I just love the way she delivers it. It's when first time she sees the hitchhiker after she's run him over, and she sees him coming up behind her. He keeps looking back, and he sees him just trotting down to her, and she looks back and he's gone, and she turns around, she looks around, she says, "You're seeing things, bitch." I don't know why. But that line delivery just gets me every time. I thought it was great. One of the off-putting things about this episode, though, is the music. One of the great things about the original Creepshow is it got a great score. Has a very fun. It's creepy. It just, I don't know. It just really fits that film. I guess the main theme on Creepshow 2 is pretty good. It's a little different. It doesn't really have that. I don't want to say creep feel because that seems very on the nose, but I guess the guitar, doom 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 kind of thing is interesting. I do like it. It's very memorable. It's catchy, but I do kind of miss the really just, I don't know, spectral like sound of the original Creepshow. Now, all that going back to that, what's weird about the soundtrack or the score for the Hitchhiker segment is that it sounds like a 1970s action drama TV show theme. It's really weird. I never really picked up on it. Found just listening to it now, and it really stuck out to me. I was like, this just seems strange. It's a weird placement. My guess, because she's running around the car. That's what a lot of the 70s action TV shows were. People running, or chasing each other in cars. All those cop shows and whatnot. But that's what it feels like. It's a strange feeling for the overall music. It's a very inconsistent tone with the music. Where I think the Creepshow score is very consistent through all 5 of those stories, and that isn't the same for this film. Am I still on? Okay. Just making sure. But again, it's one of the most memorable. I remember as a kid in school, everyone talked about it. They always remember it. Thanks for the ride. To this day, thanks for the ride, lady. You know what that is. It's where it comes from. So, I mean, yeah, they're uneven, but they're still fun. It's just a shame that we didn't get at least 1 or 2 more stories. I know on that note, we talk about on the special features, or many you could hear it anywhere. You're supposed to have I forget something about I can't remember the title of it, but something about a cat, which I guess was finally used in Tales from the Dark Side movie. I can't remember the title of it. And of course, there's a Pinfall, which was represented as a comic book adaptation here in the Blu-ray and in the 4K as well. So we'll get that in a second. It'd be interesting to have that adaptation to see that in live action, but you only get the 3. Again, the film feels really short. You have the awkward cartoony wraparound. So while it's still fun, it's still missing a lot of what made the original Creepshow so good. But it's definitely worth checking out, and I think it's a better sequel than Creepshow 3. We want to talk about Creepshow 3. So let's talk about these 2 editions. As you said, they're basically identical. However, if you can tell here, the Blu-ray has more of a gloss finish over this kind of flat, not really matte. It's a smooth finish. It's still kind of a glossy, smooth finish, but this was a lot glossier because obviously you have the reflection here. And the back on this one actually has your specs, where this one does not. This had the 4K had the L card attached to it. But inside you still got the same things, just the 4K and the comic book. Special features wise, exactly the same. So let's pull this out. Here is the Blu-ray 4K, just the 4K, excuse me. There's your back. And there's the disc and the nice little booklet, which I just read through. Nice little essay about the film. Real short, real quick. And I believe it's the exact same book that's in the other set as well. Only thing else that was in here was a card for Evil Dead Rise. If I can get this book out, yeah. There you go, Evil Dead Rise. And this is a reversible art, which is this image right here, which was the image on the alternate Blu-ray cover. So it's kind of cool. You get all 3 versions here. You've got the red version, purple version, and then you've got, of course, the classic poster version representing. So that's a nice touch. And of course, you've got the Creepshow comic adaptation of Pinfall, Lost Tale of Horror. This is just a comic book of that. Unusual for this Chunky box set, which was the same thing with the first one, no poster, which is kind of rare. I don't recall too many of these that didn't come with a poster. So, what about special features on here? Like I said, they're exactly the same. Yeah, they're just the same. So, but I'll tell you what is on here, just for the sake of it. This is a brand new 4K restoration from the original negative Whereas this Blu-ray was actually just a 2K restoration from original film elements. I don't know what that means or what elements they got, but you know that the 4K is strictly from the negative. So that, again, this is a really good looking picture. Let's see. It's a 4K UHD Blu-ray presentation in Dolby Vision HDR10 compatible. Original lossless mono, stereo, and 5.1 DTS HDA MA surround audio option, which I did listen to the 5.1. It's a really good subtle track. Nothing that sticks out too much, but it's got some good directional movements to it, and overall it's a really good crisp quality. Let's see, optional English subtitles for deaf and hard of hearing. The audio commentary director Michael Gornick. Poncho's Last Ride, an interview with actor Daniel Beer. The Road to Dover, an interview with actor Tom Wright. Screenplay for a sequel, an interview with screenwriter George A. Romero, which is, again, archival. Tales from the Creep, an interview with actor and makeup artist Tom Savini. Nightmares in Foam Rubber, an archive featurette on the special effects of Creepshow 2, including interviews with FX artists Howard Berger and Greg Nicotero. My Friend Rick, Howard Berger on his special effects mentor Rick Baker. Behind-the-scenes footage, image gallery, trailers, and TV spots. Original screenplay galleries. Creepshow 2 Pinfall, a limited edition booklet featuring the comic adaptation of the unfilmed Creepshow 2 segment Pinfall by artist Jason Mayo. Illustrated artist booklet featuring writing on the film by festival programmer Michael Blythe. Reversible sleeve featuring original new commissioned artwork by Mike Saputo. Plus you have trailers, commercials, yada, yada, yada. So, again, it's a packed edition. It's the same edition as a Blu-ray, but again, the picture quality on the 4K is much, much better. Again, so what do you do? Well, the only one available is the 4K if you're going to get that. However, if you have this Blu-ray and you really want to upgrade to the 4K, this still looks good. I'm not going to say it doesn't look good. This just looks better, but this looks very good. Again, supposedly there's a framing issue on here. I don't see that. Your experience may vary. This is still a very great or good watchable SU. If you don't feel the need to upgrade because you're just not happy that it's the exact same thing, hey, you do you. It's okay. But again, this is 4K from the camera negative. The picture quality is much better. Again, not bad. This is just better. So, if you don't have this at all, then definitely get this. You won't regret it. But again, you do you. So that is it for this one. If you enjoyed this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on Creepshow 2 and how you compare it to Creepshow 1. What was the first time you saw Creepshow 2? What are your memories from? Because I have fond memories of this because I saw this one a lot. Funny enough, I probably saw it more than Creepshow 1. I don't know if I said that or not before, but again, because it played on cable a lot, it was one to go back and watch a lot more for whatever reason. But Creepshow 1 is still tops for me. Or just say hi. I'll always take hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I'll see you on the other side.